Give a warm welcome to my Platinum Mastermind member, Chris Matthews.
Thanks, John.
That's very funny. I like it.
This is I cannot tell you how scary this is for me. I can't tell you how scary this is going to get for you as well. I spoke to Richard Wilkins in the foyer yesterday, and I said to him, I am literally petrified, terrified of the thought of being stood up here and doing this. This is just so out of whatever I thought I would see myself doing. And Richard said, oh, just be yourself. Just, you know, if you feel like the emotions welling up, let it come out. So it's there at the moment. It will, I think, get higher. It's unusual to ask the audience to have tissues for the presenter rather than themselves. We'll get there. I want to give you some great content. I really do. I want to let you know that somebody who knew nothing about coaching can take the stuff that they'll learn in Platinum in just 12 months and turn that into a £40,000 a month business and help people. And the last bit's the bit that really matters to me. Okay, right, let's master this clicker. Where do we point it again? That's me and my dear wife, Rachel. That's taken at Windermere. I keep looking back there, I can see it down there. That's me and my wife, Rachel, was taken at Windermere last weekend, actually. The reason I've got a slightly worried look on my face is that the person behind the camera is 6 years old, and she's told, we buy water, and she's told me if I don't smile, the camera was going in the water. So. They're my beautiful children. 13, 7, 4 and 2. Unusual names, I agree, but we like them. Oh, I'm glad you laughed. My wife had a different version of that joke, which was 13, 7, 4 and 2, the amount of time it took to conceive each of them. Didn't know if I get away with that, sorry, Dan. By the way, just because of that joke, I'm just going to very quickly have an aside. I heard two people talk, say, oh, Daniel gets the speakers to, like, you know, he pays them basically to come and say this stuff. If you think that after this presentation, well, we'll see. He doesn't. This is absolutely from the heart. I wouldn't have got away with that joke otherwise. Okay, see if you can spot me. Anybody? Yeah, I had to think then. It's your left. That's me. About 14, I think there, something like that. Anne talked about it before, the mask. There was stuff going on that had gone on up to this point. That picture doesn't really show what was going on. There was stuff happening to me that basically shouldn't have been happening. And I turned to food as a control, so I could feel in control of something in my life. And in a minute, I'm going to show you how you can go from being a very healthy looking 14-year-old to being a very unhealthy 40-year-old, actually late 30s. And I went to 20 stone. At that point, I could keep the weight off. I was out running after school every night. I'd very often do 6 miles, then I'd come back and I'd go on my bike and I'd do another 20 miles with a friend who were both into cycling. So the food didn't actually show itself externally. But later in life, when the running and the cycling stops, the food starts showing. That's what happens. Just one sec, and this isn't for effect, by the way, that picture still horrifies me now. That's what happens when you let a 4-year-old borrow a camera when you're eating. It's one, I'll face the right way, I should have probably gone on a public speaking course as well. It's one of the few pictures that exists of me that I'm not either stood behind somebody, that I'm not doing catalogue man pose, pushing myself in, that I'm well, not smiling, because I'd try and, capture a smile. I didn't like being photographed. I always try and get at the back of the group, stand behind people. But yeah, that's it. I only noticed this the other day. This is the thing that really gets me. You see the baby girl photograph behind there? That's because my youngest had just been born. At that weight, I was unlikely to see her get married. There are very, very few people with a BMI of 35, or probably more than that, at that particular picture, that get to 70 years old. My little girl, she's getting married mid-20s. The chances of me being there were few and far between. I nearly said slim, but that would have been inappropriate. This is a tough one for me, and I almost left this out. You get to a point where you think you're useless, there's nothing else you can do, you're overweight. And so, coming home from the cinema one night, I'd worked away in Manchester, this was January. I got on the scales between Christmas and New Year, and they'd tipped 20 stone for the first time. And I can't tell you the shock and the horror. I literally sobbed. It's like, what have I done to myself? How have I got? Well, I knew how I'd got there because I'd eaten a lot of food. The reason I'd got there was still locked deep inside, and I'd not talked to anybody about it. And I thought the only way I could see out of this was to end it all. So it was driving across this bridge back from the cinema. Anybody who knows Manchester, that's Barton Bridge. I was driving back from the cinema late one night. I'd been working down in Manchester. I'd gone myself. I'd been on a diet up to that point, up to that night. Got really fed up with work. I'd had a crappy day. Got 2 family bags of chocolate, sat in the cinema. Got to the bottom of both bags. Not unusual. I've hit the bottom of the tin of roses in a night. Not a little tin, like a Christmas tin. Excuse me. I got to the middle of the bridge and started to slow down. It was about 11 o'clock, cinema had finished, and thought I could then take all this pain away. I could walk to the middle, park the car, jump over the edge. It's literally like that. It might have been a bit of a shock for them on that boat. I almost said, but I didn't do it. But that's a bit obvious, so. What stopped me, and I jest not, and the ridiculousness of this still just does not cease to amaze me. What stopped me was a lorry behind me flashed his lights and lit the car up, because I was obviously slowed down. There's no hard shoulder. Anybody who knows the bridge will know there's no hard shoulder. When there's an incident on the bridge, it shuts Manchester. I was going to be that incident. Parking your car, and I genuinely, the ridiculous thing was, I thought, if I stop here now, this lorry driver might run into the back of me. Right, there we go, nudity. Woohoo. So, I went from the left to the right in 20 weeks. So, the 15th of June, thank you. That means a lot, but I only did it because I found the right thing to do it with. I came across a clinic completely by accident. When I came across that clinic was about 4 weeks after I'd thought about stopping on Barton Bridge and throwing myself off. I happened to be in the reception area of a client's, and the client was a big client of mine. I was a project manager, and I project managed a lot of building projects in his buildings. A guy came in, I was sat down already, I was an hour late for a meeting, which was really unusual for me. The other guy came in, and he was an hour early for his meeting with a different person. Wasn't even coming to see me. I heard him introduce himself. He said, I'm Dr. Brindley, I'm opening a clinic in building X, which was in Cheshire. Would anybody, he said, I've come to see such a body. So the guy sat down and I started chatting to him, and it turned out it was a weight loss clinic. Said, oh, that's ironic, and made all the usual defensive jokes I made about when you're overweight, 20 stone. So, you know, it's all bought and paid for, and, you know, so you could treat me for free, I'll manage your project. To sort of throw it out there a bit, see if anything. He said, oh, well, that'd be good, you know, here's your card, this is what we do. So I went and did the most unbelievable research on the website, on the internet, on Google. I went on every forum, not to particularly check them out because I was going to do his project anyway. It was going to be profitable. I genuinely wanted to do the project, to get the clinic up and running as quick as I could, because he said I could be his first patient, and I was. And on the 15th of June 2009. I got on their scales, not my scales at home, at 19 stone 2 on the left, and 20 weeks later I was 11 stone and 12 pounds. I'm so used to working in kilograms now because we work in kilograms. So it was over 7 stone. And I don't want to labour the point. The point was I'd found the right thing to use, the right tool, the right vehicle. That's the whole point. And my biggest regret in life, if any of you have flown recently and been on an EasyJet, a Jet 2 flight, my picture's in there in an advert, full page advert. My biggest regret in life, didn't wear better boxer shorts. I came back from Dubai, having been out working there for three weeks, and it was the first time I'd been on a plane and I'd not needed the extension. Little things. I cannot tell you the embarrassment that it causes when you have to ask an air hostess who's 20-something and stick thin, can I just have a bigger seatbelt? So I came back from Dubai and I was uber excited. I'd lost this weight. I'd had a reasonable time out in Dubai, but on the plane coming back, it's like, I've had enough of this. I've got to do something else with my life. There's got to be more. I can help people. I know I can help people. I can do something with this. I've got an experience to share. Just all these thousands of ideas whizzing through my head. So I went home. I decided to open an Alizone clinic. It makes such a throwaway statement. So opening an Alizone clinic needed about £350,000. It also needed me to be a doctor. I also needed a building. The list of why I couldn't do this was so big that most sane humans would have just said, oh, what a stupid idea, and put it in the would have been nice to do box. I call it an adult gap year, by the way. My wife called it a midlife crisis. Well, I thought was a little unfair. I'm not in the middle of my life now. I was before when I was 20 stone. I was well past the middle. I realised that my eating disorder had gone away. This is what I've done in my adult gap year. I've realised my eating disorder hadn't gone away. I was just hiding it. In fact, it was March, at the March conference last year, I had a massive breakthrough with a coach. By accident, chatting, and some stuff had started to come out. So I've been able to talk a little bit more about some of the stuff that had gone on when I was younger. And a little bit of information came out, and the coach picked up on it like that. So intuitive. And she's not actually even a coach in the sector that you would imagine. She's actually a social media coach called Jo Dodds. After I told her that, it was like something had been lifted. Just started feeling that this was coming out and I could do something about it. I knew I was hiding it, and you know, even now, there's still bits that I'm coming to terms with. And those two unfortunate ladies from Damsels who I burst into tears on last night will testify to the fact that this is raw emotion, and you know, that I'm still going through the process. In September 2009, I went to Super Conference. This is last year, September. That should have been 2010. September 2010, I went to Dan Super Conference. I was not a coach, as you know. I decided I wanted to open an Alizone clinic. Alizone's an astonishingly effective treatment for treating the symptoms of weight gain. You lose the weight relatively rapidly, but it's done safely under medical supervision. It's not surgical. And this isn't a sales pitch, by the way. These are just all the questions that I've been asked, and I'm trying to answer them at once. you lose it all you lose it from where you want to lose it from. Best thing is the skin tightens back, so I'm not left with, saggy baggy skin. But hey, I'm not Brad Pitt, admittedly, but that's only from there up. And as my wife says, from there down. So I went there and I literally knew nothing about coaching, not a thing. I actually went with the sole intention of finding what I thought, in my naivety of the industry, a coach, some sort of counsellor, a therapist. I thought, well, I'll go, there's all in one place, it's going to be a good way, collect a lot of business cards, job's a good one. And I went and I did collect a lot of business cards. I realised this was an industry I wanted to be around. These were people who wanted to help people. And it was the first time in my life I almost felt at home with a group of people. There you go, see this, how good a presenter I am. I've just did my next point without pressing the clicker. So my intention was to find some coaches to work with the new clinic. Because as I say, Ali's Own treats the symptoms, but I needed somebody who knew what they were doing to understand the causes. Now, I actually think I was just trying to get my own therapy on the cheap, if I'm truthful. I thought I'll get somebody who can come along and I can check them out myself and see if it works. And then if it does, then I can add it into the business. I met some amazing people, a lot of whom are now some of my closest friends. I can't believe it's only 12 months that I've been doing this. I am astonished at the closeness. Nadine's smiling at me from the front row. Somebody I now consider a friend. Anne, again, such a close friend, all in such a short period of time. That's platinum. That's what Mastermind does. It pulls you together, like-minded individuals working together for a common purpose. I joined Platinum. I had no money to do it. I just put 350 grand into a clinic. My wife was very understanding. I say understanding. She didn't know. I accidentally set up a coaching business, helping people use the phone to get clients. Now this came from the Mastermind group. I'd unrelated the story this morning. Promised this wasn't planned. I didn't know she was going to mention it. I'd not seen it as being a massively important part. I've got 2 minutes. Did Ivan have longer than me? So I accidentally set up a coaching business. I mentioned it to Anne, and I helped Anne out. To me, it was like second nature. When you're 20 stone, using the phone's a great thing because nobody's prejudging you. You're on the phone, it's great. In fact, I actually thought I'll do the whole presentation. I'd be more comfortable if we could, do it via a conference call. If you could all dial in, and I could just be on the phone. So I had to charge something for it because otherwise people don't value it. So I put a figure on it, 297. I quickly raised it to 397. It was about 45 minutes of coaching. And it worked. I had 100% success rate. Everybody I spoke to was, wow, I can't believe it was that easy. I said, no, could I really? In my adult gap year, and the 12 months I've had in Platinum, I think I'm supposed to be on the left or right stage now. I'm telling you where I'm going to with this action. How to market the clinic is what I've learned. The 12 months, the plan has messed us around. It's been an absolute nightmare getting planning permission, but it doesn't matter. I've learned so much. Sometimes what's meant to happen is meant to happen. Stuff happens when it's at the time it's ready to happen. There'll be some of you in this room that are absolutely ready now, and we'll go out here and we'll just coach the people you know you need for the coaching. There are others of you that you're just not quite ready. Well, that's fine, don't beat yourself up about it. I spent 12 months doing it, it doesn't help, it doesn't get you any further. But when you do make the decision, boy does it come quick, like that. I've helped 40 new patients start on the journey within 7 weeks of opening the clinic. Couldn't have done it without the experience and the marketing that I've learned. I've sat down with people and heard some of the most heart-wrenching stories about how they got to the size they got to. And sometimes you look back and you think, well, maybe what happened to me was supposed to happen so I can help these other people. Who knows? And I'm not very woo-woo, by the way. I've generated £40,000, and I don't do this to be flash. I really don't. Please believe me when I say this. Our treatment is around about £1,000 a month. It works for 100% of people. It's astonishingly good. And I'm making it by helping people. That is just the best bit. It really is. What I've learned. Now, some of you in the room are going to get this, and some of you I'm going to very quickly explain it because there's a big sign gone up saying end. When I was procrastinating about doing anything, one of the ways I knew I was procrastinating was I would go and make homemade soup. So I would get all the vegetables and I'd peel them and I'd chuck them in the pot, and then I need some spring onions, so I'd drive to the shop to get the spring onions. We've probably got some onions in, but needed spring. So I would home make this soup, and that was my way of procrastinating from not doing the things I knew I should be doing. I would make homemade soup, and Rach would come in because I tended to work from home during my gap year. Rach would come in and go, "That smells nice, as I've been making soup again." She says, "Yeah, but have you made any money?" No. So what I would say is stop making soup, those of you who are. Whatever it is you're doing, and you know what it is, we'll go for a coffee at Starbucks, I'll meet another coach at Starbucks and we'll have a talk about our business. Get in front of some clients. They need you. Honestly. If somebody had coached me 15 years ago, or even 10 years ago when I really started putting the weight on, how different could my life have been? Well, maybe I might not be doing this now, so who knows. Why I'm doing this. That's one of my inspirations. I got that actually. The reason it's on there and it's actually on my iPhone, that's Katie. I watched this young lady who was 26 walk into my clinic like she looked on the left, and then 32 weeks later she'd lost 10 stone. Now if you want a good day at the office, come and join me for a day, because that is a good day. Getting that on your mobile, somebody says, "You've changed my life." Come on, what are you lot doing? Not ringing the people you need to be ringing. Get it done. Stop fanning around and making soup. Thanks for listening.